Okay, a new political battle ramping up in Nevada. The Trump campaign says the president will still travel to Nevada this weekend. This after two planned rallies were canceled in Nevada for reportedly breaking COVID-19 rules set in place by the Democrat governor. Let's welcome back to the show. We always love having her on. She's Young Americans for Liberty analyst, Kristin Tate. Kristin, your reaction to this development?
You know, it's really unfair what's happening to the Trump campaign, Liz. The fact that so many of these Democrats are trying to shut down Trump campaign events, but are totally fine with Biden events in many places, and also with, these Antifa riots really tells you everything you need to know about these COVID rules. They're often motivated on politics and not public health. It's about control. The Democrats want more control, and they're using a pandemic as a political weapon. But I really think voters are waking up to this, Liz. People are sick and tired of sitting in their houses for months on end while they watch politicians break their own COVID rules in many cases. They watch the Democrats gather by the thousands for funerals for their political leaders like John Lewis, while average people can't even hold a simple funeral for their loved ones. They watch these Democratic mayors send police to shut down churches and salons and arrest business owners, while allowing these BLM Antifa rioters to burn down cities with near impunity. So at some point, voters are going to start asking, why aren't the Democrats looking out for average working class people?
The tone is set from the top down. President Trump and Joe Biden have campaign events planned in Michigan, but the Democrat governor of Michigan, Governor Whitmer, is basically saying she's worried about the Trump event due to COVID-19 rules, but not the Biden campaign event. You point out the arbitrariness of this all. I mean, we have been tracking the governor of Illinois, Governor Pritzker, saying you got to stay in place, everybody in Illinois, but his family goes to a vacation home out of state. We have Governor Phil Murphy of New Jersey attending protests. We have Governor Gavin Newsom not letting his own a winery that I think he owns an investment in consortium of, sits outside a COVID-19 rule zone. It goes on and on. There's a growing list of Democrat politicians called out about their double standards. What's your reaction?
Yeah, these left-wingers are so flagrant in their hypocrisy that they've really unmasked for the American people the Democrats' belief that the political aristocracy is superior to average Americans. There's one set of rules for the public, and then this other totally different set of rules for the ruling class. But working class voters are getting fed up with this. And Liz, as Trump pointed out in his RNC speech, this kind of hypocrisy is very common with Democrats. Joe Biden is taking marching orders from liberals who want open borders, but they live in walled, gated communities themselves, who want to eliminate school choice, but they send their own kids to private, expensive schools, who want to abolish the police, but have these private security guards who are often paid for by taxpayers. I mean, I think this COVID double standard, though, it could be the flame that really sets off a fire with voters.
The salon owner, let's get to Nancy Pelosi, the salon owner that House Speaker Nancy Pelosi accused of, quote, setting her up. Supporters contributed nearly $330,000 to a crowdfunding account to help the salon owner in San Francisco move her business. She's received death threats. Erica Caius is her name. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi says that, Erica owes her an apology. Erica said, I didn't set her up. I was fed up. And basically, Nancy Pelosi is now saying she's owed an apology. She's going to move on from the story. She's going to take the high road. She's not going to respond anymore because this is beneath her, this whole elaborate, quote, setup she's now claiming. Your reaction?
Well, the fact that this hairdresser has raised so much money shows there's a real anger amongst voters at the double standard. And what's so offensive, Liz, isn't just the hypocrisy. It's that the Democrats never apologize when they're caught violating their own rules. Nancy Pelosi saying it's a setup and she wants an apology. We saw Governor Cuomo when he was called out for his nursing home policy that killed so many elderly folks. Instead of addressing the issue, he just, claims it never happened and won't take any responsibility accountability for it. People see what's going on, and this is going to be such a big issue in this election, especially as the COVID death rates are going down. The country is starting to reopen in many parts, in many cities. People want to move on and get back to life, and yet these Democrats won't let go of these lockdowns. They want to keep restricting people with oppressive rules, but they're fine to break their own rules, and they won't apologize for it.
Okay. Kristin Tate, it's always great to have you on. Come back soon.
Thank you so much, Liz.